You're listening to The Hikam with Shaykh Zahir Bacchus of the Lotri Foundation. In this podcast, Shaykh Zahir explains the aphorisms from Ibn Ata'illah's famous book of wisdoms, Al-Hikam Al-Ata'iyah, a classical manual of spiritual development. Visit seekershub.org for online courses, our reliable answer service, and engaging media.
So in today's lesson, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in knowledge and practice of our deen. In today's lesson, this hikmah, it's number 88 in Shaykh Ibn Ata'illah's book on curing of the self, or working towards getting yourself better, in a better relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this lesson, he talks about giving and withholding. We talked about this. He talked about this before, mana and ata, the concept of giving, the ata, and of withholding or depriving of it, and how to view these two things. And so he says in this one, we'll discuss it. He says, al-ata'u min al-khalq harman or hirman, wal-man'u min Allahi ihsanun. So he says that being given to by one of the creation, being given to by one fellow's creatures, the khalq, us, being given to by a fellow person, is being withheld from. Being given from one of the fellow creation is being withheld from, and being withheld from by Allah is ihsan, is magnanimity or excellence. Being withheld from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ihsan, is excellence. So why is it that he said being withheld from the khalq, from the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you're given something by others, why is it considered being withheld from? Because if you look at the response of the self to when being given, and being given here is terms of being given in material things, being given by the khalq to material things. And so when one is given something by the khalq of Allah, by a fellow person, it's normally a material thing. And so what happens is a few things can happen when given to by someone. What can happen, and the fear of what can happen, is that number one is that the self, the nafs, can increase the desire of that thing. The nafs can increase the desire for that thing. And if one is trying to fight the nafs, or fight the desire, one is trying to fight from acting upon one's desires. And this is the fight, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with a nafs. He created us with a nafs that call to things that may be unpleasant, or may not be good for us, or may not be something that will lead us to betterment, or lead us to a better relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our nafs, our selfish side, can term the nafs, it's shahwa, our desires can increase in things that are given to us, things that are given to us. And so that could happen. So when given to by the khalq, by fellow creation, it can lead to an increase in your shahwa and your desires. It can lead to an increase in the nafs having an appetite or wanting more of what you got. It can lead to that. All of it, when that happens, it can lead to a hardness of the heart. It can lead to what? Hardness of the heart. And that's what it can lead to. A hardness of the heart. Because once the nafs is satisfied, or once the nafs desires things of this material world, especially when given, if you tasted some of this, what people may give you, you may like the taste, and you may increase your appetite for it. Your appetite for the material things may increase because you may like it. In which case, you're led down the path in which you're going after material things. You're going after things in this world that may not be good for you. They may not be good for you. They may not be. So especially, and we see this in children, there's lots of research done on children, and when you give a child something that they may find delightful or they may find good, they will want more of it. They want more of it. Like a child, when you give a child candy, for instance, something sweet, chocolate, whatever, that sweetness or that taste induces in that child what? To want more. It does. If the child was not given and doesn't know what it tastes like, would the child ask for it? They wouldn't ask for it because they wouldn't desire it. Why would they desire it when they don't know what it tastes like? And they don't know what it is. If they don't know what it is and don't know how it tastes like, they're not going to desire it. Once they're given it, what happens then? Once they're given, then their desire for it increases because they like it. It may be harmful to them. It may be harmful to them, but because they like the taste of it, they will desire more of it. It's the same nafs. A child that has a nafs like that is the same type of nafs that we have, on a greater or grander, more grander. That when we're given something, it may increase our desire for it. And if it increases your desire for it, the material world, you slowly get removed from the next world and your aspiration for the next world or your desire for the next world. And then you start making, slowly by slowly, you start making excuses for not doing things slowly. And this all leads to what? It leads to a hardness of the heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Hadid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to the believers. He sent to the believers a reminder. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send to the believers? He sent to the believers a reminder of having or submitting themselves wholeheartedly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by listening to His remembrance or reminding themselves of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. The verse was sent to the believers in Surah Al-Hadid, which is a surah that came down in Medina. There is a dispute about when the verses came down, whether it was the Meccan period or the Medina period. The Meccan period of revelation is all the verses that came down before the hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Medina. The Medina verses are the verses that came after the hijrah, after he migrated to and immigrated to Medina. This is a separation. The ulama look at these two periods of time. And so Surah Hadid, the majority they say is from Medina. Some have said that it is from the Meccan period. Some of the verses are from the Meccan. Anyhow, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says to the believers, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَأَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Has not time come for the believers? Has not time come for the believers to submit their hearts to the remembrance of Allah? And تَخْشَأَ قُلُوبُهُمْ. تَخْشَأَ means to, khasha means to be humbled or to have humility. In this case, it's in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes it, and تَخْشَأَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, it means to submit. Because when you're humble and you have humility, you have humbleness and humility to something or to someone. In the case of us being believers, humbleness and humility is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We humble ourselves to Allah. Humbling yourself to Allah and having humility with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means what? That you submit yourself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Alam ya'ni alladhina amanu, has not time come for those who believe. This is to the believers. And takhsha'a qulubuhum li dhikrillah, that they submit their hearts to the reminders of Allah. وَمَا نَزْلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ, and what has descended from Allah, from the truth. And what has descended from Allah, from the truth. وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, and do not become like those who were given, وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِ, do not be like those who were given the scriptures from before. They were given revelation. So Allah says, do not become like those who were given the scriptures before. فَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ, and the passage of time passed. Time passed. وَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ, and what passed was time. Decades. Years passed. Years passed that they had the revelation with them. They had the revelation with them. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say happened? While they had the revelation and years passed, decades passed, hundreds of years passed, with them having the revelation, they removed themselves from the revelation because they followed their nafs. So what happens to them? وَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُم, and their hearts became hard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, their hearts became hard. With the passage of time, even though they had revelation from their Lord, they had revelation from their Lord, but time passed. Time passed. Lots of time passed. And with the passage of time, what happened? With the passage of time, slowly they left from their remembrance of their book, following their book, following the revelation. Why? Because of their shahwa, because of their need or their desire for things. And it could be something tangible, it could be something of this world, and it could be something intangible. What is intangible? Are things like status, are things like fame. These things are also what people have desire for. They have desires for, they have a desire for status. They want people to view them in a certain light. They have desire for status. They want people to think of them in a certain way. They want people to think of them in a certain way. So they will be with certain people and not with other people. They will sit with certain people, not with other, because they want people to think of them in a certain way. They want people to put them in a category. This is all dunyawi. It's all dunyawi. All of it is dunyawi. So the things that people desire could be tangible or intangible. Could be things that are intangible, completely intangible. So what happened? فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so their hearts became hard. The hearts became hard. So Ibn Ata'illah, Shaykh Ibn Ata'illah, the scholar, he says what? That sometimes being given by one's fellow creatures, being given, is being withheld from. That's being withheld. Be withheld from what? Withheld from knowing and having the remembrance of Allah take firmness in the heart. Being withheld from seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's your goal. Being withheld from seeing that the next world is the best thing for you and what you should aim for. Being withheld from seeing that the next world is what you should prioritize over this world. As we talked about yesterday, everything that you do in this world, you say in this world, you should think about how it affects your next world. Whatever you do in this world, you should think, how does this affect my next world? How does it? How is what I'm going to speak about, make a comment about how does it affect my next world? How does it affect my next world? There are people who will lead others to destruction by giving them or telling them something. You tell them something about someone else or about this great thing that you got and increase their shahwa to go get it. You have what? Are you benefited them, or are you on giving them a path of destruction? Are you giving them a path of destruction? What have you led them to? What have you led them to? And so in that way, when you give something to someone, you should think, is this going to lead them to goodness or lead them to something that is not good? There's no doubt that gift giving is a part of our deen. It is a part of our deen. This is not what he's talking about. The Prophet ﷺ talked about gift giving. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Tahaddu tahabbu." It's a very nice hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Tahabbu." Now he said, "Tahaddu tahabbu." He said, "Give gifts, and love will increase." Give gifts, and love will increase, meaning that the heart becomes good. The heart becomes good. But you have to know what you're giving. Give to what you think will benefit the person in this world and the next world. Or else this happens. And so he says, the next part of it, he says, and being withheld from by Allah is excellence, it is ihsan. Because what Allah withholds from you is what's going to benefit you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not withhold anything from the servant except that it's good for him or her. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala withholds is for the benefit of the servant. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is of benefit to one. Allah knows. And we don't know. Allah knows if he gives something, if he had given something, that the next day or the next year, it would have led you to destruction. It would have led you to destruction. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infinite knowledge and wisdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can withhold. And when He withholds, it's ihsan. It's from His excellence. It's excellence to you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preferring you, choosing you, because it's from excellence. Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, he has a very nice statement. He says, Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, he says, do not place between you and Allah another bestower of gifts. He says, do not place between you and Allah another bestower of gifts. Another bestower of gifts. Count gifts received from other than Him as an unwanted debt. Consider that gifts received from other than Him, than Allah, other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as an unwanted debt. That it's something that you should repay. That's what he says. Ali ibn Talib. Why? Because he does not want the person to be have his shahwa, his desire increase or displaced, or think that the gifts are coming from the person solely. No, it's Allah who's behind. So even when you get a gift or we give a gift from someone, it's Allah who has inspired us with that incentive. It's Allah who has inspired us with that thought to give that gift. It's Allah who has enabled us to work in order to buy that gift. It's Allah who has enabled us not only to work, but to benefit from the work by getting a paycheck, so that we may buy the gift. So in the end, the gift may be given from you, but you're the means of it. The gift may be bought by you, and it may be given by you, but you are the means. Allah is the sabab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the musabbib, the one who is the causer of it. Who caused it? Allah caused it. Allah He put the aspiration, He put the thought in you to give the gift. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled you to work, gave you the energy, gave you the ability to allow you to work so that you may earn. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided that you got what you worked for. that you got the fruit of your labor, you got a paycheck. So in the end, the gift is coming through who? Through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you're just the means of it. You're the delivery system of the gift. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses us to give to others. There's a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ is in Tabari and it's Sahih, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send, He elects people to be a means of giving to others. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ says that Allah elects people. What does He elect them to do? He elects them to be a means of helping others. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, what happens if Allah has elected you as a means of helping others, and you don't? And you don't. And you don't. What happens? Allah will take away it from you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take it away from you. So, if you are a means of others helping, it's a very beautiful hadith. Very. Imam Tabari in the Awsat, Sahih, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's what He does. So what if you're a means? When you're a means of helping others, it means Allah in the end has decided that you are the one who gives. So Imam Ali radiallahu anhu, what is he saying? So do not place between you and Allah another bestower of gifts. Meaning, do not think that when you're given a gift, you thank the person, but you thank Allah. It's Allah who has, you've gotten it. So when he says do not place between you and Allah another bestower of gifts, do not consider the one who's given you the gift as the one who ultimately gave it to you. No, the one who ultimately gave it to you is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You thank the person who gave it to you, but then you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also. Because you see it as coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the way to look at it. It's the way to look at it. If not, then you become more thankful to people without going back and seeing that it's Allah who is in control of everything. And then you lose out, because then your shahwa towards people becomes increased, and towards the things that they possess. Towards the things that they possess. If you're abstinent from the things that people possess, if you're abstinent from the things that people possess, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to love you. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, "Izhad fi dunya, yuhibbuka Allah, wa izhad fi ma inda nas, yuhibbuka nas." The Prophet ﷺ, he says, the word zuhud is here, and it's an Islamic concept. The Prophet ﷺ, in this hadith also, he said that the izhad fi dunya, yuhibbuka Allah, if you're abstinent and you're not attached to the things of this world, Allah will love you. How do you gain the love of Allah? Become detached from the things of this world. You can have it, you can own things, but don't be attached to it. If it goes, it goes. You don't have anxiety. How many people have things and they have anxiety and stress over losing it? They're insecure. They have things. They have cars, they have houses, they have money, they have this, they have that. But they worry. What is their worry? Losing it. Have you met people like this? They worry about losing the things that they have. Why are they worried? Because they don't connect that the one who gave it is the one who can take it, and certainly the one who can replace it. If you believe that the one who gave you what you have, then you must believe that He can take it from you. And you must believe that He can replace it too. So why would you worry? Why would you worry? People worry about their things that they have from losing it because they think they have gotten it themselves. They have. And so they need to secure it themselves. The one who gave it to you, is the one who can take it, the one who can replace it, and the one who can secure it. So you have no worries. You have no worries. Not any worries. So the concept of zuhud is non-attachment, meaning that it's Allah's. So the Prophet ﷺ, he says, "Izhad fi dunya yuhibbukallah." When you have non-attachment to the things that you possess, or you have non-attachment to desire things of this world except what Allah has given to you, then Allah will love you because your attachment is to Him. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he says, "Izhad fi ma inda nas." One narration for fi ma inda idea nas, and what is in the hand, the possession of the hands of people. If you have non-attachment to what people possess, the Prophet ﷺ says what? Yuhibbuka nas, people will love you. If you don't love what is people possess, if you didn't desire it, and you don't compete over gaining what they have, people are going to love you. Why? Because they don't see you as a threat. Why do people not love or like other people? Because they see them as a threat. A threat of what? That they're going to want, they're desiring what I have. They want to take what I have. They want my job. They want to come to my job. They want to earn what I'm earning. They want to take what I have. They want to get that. So I must achieve beyond them. So what does it cause? It causes a dislikeness of people. But when you are non-attached to what people possess, people are going to love you. Why? Because they don't see you as a threat. They don't see you as a threat. So the Prophet ﷺ, this is what he said. This is what he said. So we have work, and the work that we do is thank Allah for everything that you have, and see that it all comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See that it all comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And be thankful that what you have and what you have gained. And be thankful. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you sincerity in what you have. Have sincerity in what you have. And if you're given, then thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're withheld from, then thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it could be that the thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala withholds you from and withheld from you could be that it's to your benefit. And it is to your benefit. It is. And so you have to thank Him for it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us, guide us, forgive us, have mercy upon us. Forgive our elders, our parents. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate us in this world and the next world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our elders, our parents, give them good health and long life. Those who have passed away, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them His mercy, His maghfirah and His shade on that day when there is no shade except His. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our children, keep on the straight path, make their footing firm in His sirat al-mustaqim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and protect our children, grant us success in this world and success in the next world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate us in this world and the next world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide for us and our families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala secure those who need security. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feed them, clothe them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our homes from the homes of the believers and make our last words our very best words. Subhanaka wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk, wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
Thank you for listening to The Hikam with Shaykh Zahir Bacchus. Help Seekers Hub spread the light of guidance to millions around the world by supporting us through monthly donations by going to seekershub.org/donate. Your donations are tax deductible in the US and Canada.